Welcome to another healing meditation for empaths. I'm David. I'm an intuitive coach and I support empaths in realising their passion project. So the focus for today's healing meditation is bringing in consistent energy, fuel, stamina, inspiration for a long-term goal or passion project. So we can think of this as activating a drip feed for you in the weeks ahead. During this meditation, we will be sharing Reiki energy. As I always say, this is not a specialist kind of energy. This is universal life force energy, and it supports people mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually. There are no magic cures here. This is not faith healing. Please go and see a doctor or a health specialist if you have any concerns. But we can experience very real positive energy shifts with Reiki. Because Reiki creates those shifts, we might have some detox symptoms after experiencing the energy. So do drink water before and after this healing meditation in the next few days. And also just be observant of your thoughts and moods and emotions. They might shift a little bit. Emotions might come to the surface. But I just wanted to let you know that that is essentially safe, and try to be an observer of those emotions and just honour them as they come up. So I've decided for this to be audio because so many of you listen with your eyes closed to these meditations and you don't need the visual element, so I thought this would be easier. And just a little bit of news before we begin. If you would like some personalised support on your journey, maybe you've got some burning questions, maybe you're at a crossroads, maybe you've got a dilemma, or you want to make an intuitively guided decision in your life, then do reach out for that one-to-one support, which I can deliver via email with an audio recording like this, personalised for you, or a written document. I've also reopened my one-to-one phone sessions as well. So wherever we're listening to this meditation, there should be links and ways and means of looking for more information. I am also bringing together a psychic mentoring service. What that means is mentoring and coaching for psychics. So that will be for three audiences really. The first will be those who've done readings for a while for friends and acquaintances and have built up a lot of confidence, or quite a bit of confidence, and want to make this a stream of income and to give more time and energy to it and to take it more seriously. Second audience for that is readers who might already work professionally and charge for their services but wanted to revamp and rethink what they're doing, the energy behind what they're doing, the audience that they're speaking to, their working style, and just to kind of revamp and re-energise. And I'm also offering ongoing support for high-performing psychics who might do several readings per week, who are just looking to check in with somebody like a counsellor would in supervision with their mentor, to seek practical guidance about client relationships and support with self-care, reflecting on one's own journey, and checking in with somebody who really knows what it's like to be a busy professional psychic. So look out for that. That will be shared when it's ready on email and in the Facebook group, etc. So for today, Make sure you are in a cozy environment where you won't be disturbed, either by people or by devices and things that beep at you. If you're not in that situation right now, feel free to pause this and come back to it later. You may need a cozy blanket or a shawl during the meditation because the body temperature tends to drop when we are very still. A glass of water is always good, and whatever else you do to set the mood for these things. So lighting a candle, putting on some music, incense, etc. Whatever your special approach might be. So now's the time to get cozy, to get comfortable in your sitting or laying position. And whenever you're ready, close your eyes. And we're going to start by paying attention to the breath and how that moves in and out of our body. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. This does not have to be a forced process. This is something the body does quite naturally. We do this unconsciously every day, so just let it flow. But pay attention to the physical sensation of the air entering through the nose and out through the mouth. Pay attention to what your body does in response to this, the rising and falling of the chest or the belly. And just spend a few moments enjoying this process. It's perfectly natural for thoughts to enter the mind about your experiences so far today, or other situations in your life, things you're anticipating in the future. Our aim today is not to blank out the thoughts, but just to honour them as they arise, let them go, and then return our attention to the breath. In order to help with this process, we can imagine a soft rainbow light being drawn into our system as we breathe in through the nose. And when we breathe out a grey mist, which is unwanted energy that no longer serves us. So this rainbow light is energizing, relaxing, soothing, restoring. And the grey mist has served us well, but may no longer serve us. So we can see that leaving our bodies and leaving the room. Maybe we can visualize that leaving through the window and returning to nature where it can be transmuted for the highest good of all. Now we're going to pay attention to different areas of the body where we might be holding tension. And I'm going to guide you through the different areas of the body, starting at the head. Imagine this like a scan, gradually moving over the surface of the body, the front and the back of your body. Pay attention to the head area, forehead, temples. And if you feel tension, just try to release that now. send some ease, some softness, some love, some flow into these tense areas. You might have been experiencing strong discomfort in some areas of the body. Our intention with this is not to magically shift that, but just to intend that we ease some of that tension. So, focusing on the temples, softening the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue, the neck area, upper shoulders, down through the arms, releasing any tension in the upper back, sending it some love, some softness. Going down to the lower back now, and the front of the body across the belly, hips and buttocks, feeling heavier as we soften and release the tension. The legs, the thighs, up and back, front and back, across the knees, calves and feet. Now we're going to connect with earth energy to ground us before we begin the journey. And as usual, we're going to use this really simple grounding method, which is to imagine that you have roots or tendrils coming out through the bottom of your feet and then working their way down into the ground. This does not matter whether you're on the ground floor right now or several floors up in your building. It's about intention. Think of this like gravity. Those roots drop down automatically. Those roots that are coming forth from the soles of your feet are seeking connection with the earth, and they're doing that work for you. And the roots are going down through the surface of the ground, through those layers of soil, like the pictures we've seen in science books, geology books, down through the layers of soil and rock, down through underground streams, down to the warm core of the earth. And just acknowledge how that feels as you make contact with the core of the earth, the essence of Mother Earth, earth energy. Feel how strengthening and comforting and grounding that is. How safe that feels. How wonderful that feels to be at one with our home, which is the earth. And as we tune into that gorgeous energy, we begin to draw it up through our roots, as if we were trees. This requires no effort. In the same way that trees would soak up water through their roots and nutrients, we now begin to feel this energy rising up. We feel it coming up into our feet, and gradually working its way up our body. Feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, buttocks and hips, tummy, torso, and resting now at the heart center. Just take a moment to register that and how that feels for you. Do you notice any physical changes, such as a change in temperature or sensation? Does this bring up any visuals in your mind's eye? Does it bring up any emotions for you as the earth energy reaches the heart center? Spend a moment with that. Now I'm going to ask you to be aware of sunlight, to imagine soft sunlight in the sky above you. Imagine what that feels like when it's sharing its rays with you, when we're basking in soft sunlight. And feel these rays on the top of your head. We're going to absorb sky energy or heaven energy now. And this comes through the top of the head. And this can take its time. We can be patient with this. Because our minds, our head spaces, can be very busy places. And so it's nice to just bask with this sunshine on our heads, on our faces for a while, as it harmonizes and balances the energies in our upper heads, in our physical brains, in the head area. Be aware of any sensations you feel as this sunlight energy moves down through the face, in the mouth, the jaw, neck, across the shoulders and upper back, into the torso, and rests at the heart center. And now you might feel some tingling or warmth, a little bit like when you take some cough medicine as a child, or as a grown-up, a dram of whiskey, warming sensation in the chest. We have the meeting of heaven and earth energy now at the heart center. See how those two energies meet and how they complement each other, yin and yang. How they seem delighted to blend, to be reacquainted with each other, like old friends meeting again. And just embrace that feeling for a while in your heart center. This has created a very special energy, a magic, which is now coming forth from your heart center. And I would like you to imagine now that you are sitting in a darkened cinema. It's a lovely, plush, opulent, cozy cinema. And you have this space all to yourself, and you feel a sense of anticipation and childlike glee, waiting for the movie to begin, enjoying the subdued lighting. You observe that there is a light, a little bit like a soft laser beam now, coming from your heart centre. And it comes forward onto what would be the cinema screen in front of you to play this movie for you now. The image that you see on the screen is of a hallway with a marble floor and palatial columns. You might recognise this from our previous meditations. And as you look at the movie screen, you realise that it expands more and more. It gets larger and larger as an image, until you realise that you are in fact inside the movie. You are standing now in the marble hallway. And you begin to walk down this hallway now. Maybe there's a pattern floor. Maybe it makes a sound as you walk across it. You notice 7 different doors. 3 on one side of you, 4 on another. And they all correspond to the 7 colours of the rainbow. Without thinking, you automatically are drawn to a door. Look at that door now and just see what colour it is. One of the 7 colours of the rainbow. Notice the colour and push the door open and enter the room. This is a room that's been created especially for you, to help you to recharge, to restore, to have quiet time, to spend time with your guides. You may have been here before in our previous meditations, but whether it's your first time or not, the room will appear to you today as you need it to appear. So just take a few moments to look around you and see how this room appears for you today. There is no one else in this room but you. Take some time to walk around the room, looking at the details, the objects in the room, engaging all of your senses. So there may be things to see, but also hear, smell, taste and touch. Is there a window in this room? And can you see a view from that window? There is lots of time to revisit all of these details, but for now, just get a sense of this room and how this room is for you today. Somewhere in this room, there is a place to be seated. There is a main chair, which is your chair, and this may appear differently each time you enter this room, depending on what your needs are. The chair might be a stately throne. It might be a cosy armchair with lots of colourful cushions. It might be a leather Chesterfield sofa. Go with whatever comes to you first, and then sit down in your special chair. After a while, you become aware of a presence. This is your guide approaching. A guide can be a guardian angel, an ancestor, a loved one that we knew in life, a power animal, a pet. Could even be from the plant kingdom. You may have several guides, and this might be a different guide that you're working with today. It could indeed be a deity, god, goddess, ascended master. But the first impression you get of your guide is a feeling. Tune into that emotional response now. Just pay attention to that first of all. Feel that in your heart center, as this is what we are working with today. Now you're going to be able to see your guide in one way, shape, or form. This might be a full appearance, or it might be a symbolic representation of your guide, and let that come to you now. There are no do's and don'ts in this. There are no rights and wrongs about how you should perceive your guide today. But just be receptive to how your guide appears to you. Your guide greets you in a way which is warm and friendly. If your guide takes human shape, this could be a smile. But the essence of a smile is what you sense here, whatever shape your guide takes. Your guide is an old friend who may have been with you through many lifetimes. So this feels like a safe space and familiar space to you, even if you're just becoming reacquainted with your guide in this lifetime. Your guide also has a chair or a place to be situated opposite you in this room. Now your guide is holding the space, listening and receptive to things that you can express as you speak from your heart. Tell your guide now about a long-term goal that you have, whether it's a passion project, business idea, a path of study. a creative pursuit. Tell your guide all about this right now. You can give as much detail as you like, or just a sense of this if you're beginning to form ideas about this. Your guide is listening and receptive to your heart's wish. Know that this wish has been received by your guide and fully acknowledged. And what your guide is going to offer you now is a special kind of energy that's going to sustain you during this long-term goal or process. Think of it like a drip effect, which can be enjoyed each day to help you to keep focused, to have resilience, to be able to keep a certain level of inspiration and openness to different ways that your outcome can manifest. Also be aware that as we open up to this energy, it can give us ideas about how to form this long-term goal. And also it can support us with the right mindset to be able to commit to daily or regular habits to support us with that self-discipline in a way which is energizing and fun, helping us to be consistent in our actions and habits. So you're going to connect with your guide now. If your guide takes a human form, you can see this as joining hands. Or you might be able to touch your forehead to your guide's forehead, or just simply sense a linking of energy now. And just acknowledge how that feels. Try to anchor this experience if you can, because this is something you can recall and enjoy and tune into, even in your everyday waking consciousness, where you can feel this connectedness to your guide. And as you enjoy this blending and union with your guide now, I'm going to begin sending Reiki energy to you all. As you make this connection with your guide, you are now receiving energy to help you on your long-term path or project. Think of this a little bit like a bank of energy, or what we call the cloud when we use a computer or device. This energy is going to be stored in this bank or cloud for you to draw from daily or regularly whenever you need it. You may also like to think of it like a dispensing machine for sweets or candy or confectionery, where each day you can put a coin in and receive a little bit more candy, a little bit more energy, upliftment and fuel. So really what we're creating right now is that bank or that cloud or the dispensing machine for the energy. And you don't have to do a thing in this moment, but just know that you're creating this dispensing machine with your guide, empowering it. Your guide is now filling this dispensing machine with restorative, uplifting, energizing energy, which can be enjoyed day to day. And however you visualize it, as a bank or a cloud or a dispensing machine, you can revisit this in your mind in the weeks ahead. You don't have to be in a deep meditative state. You can just visualize the dispensing machine or whatever image works for you, and retrieving today's piece of universal life force energy to give you a little bit of fuel for your project, for your long-term goal. Open one of your hands now, with the palm facing upwards, and see your guide put the first piece of energy into your hand. This may appear however you want it to. It could look like a piece of candy. It could be a gemstone or a crystal. It could be like a fortune cookie with a message. And every day you can have fun with this, as the appearance of the piece of energy might change. So just take a look at what that piece of energy looks like today. Does it have colours? When you hold it in your hand, what's the texture? Does it create a noise as you are rolling it around in your hand and touching it? What's the emotional response to this piece of energy in your hand? And what images do you get? Maybe it is telling you specifically about what it can help with. So if we do compare it to a crystal or a gemstone, which have different uses and purposes, maybe this chunk of energy is going to help you with a specific aspect of your life right now, today. Allow it to give you images, maybe words in your mind's eye, which indicate the use of this chunk of energy. And now we're going to take this little piece of energy and we're going to place it directly into our heart center. So put your hand on your heart right now. Feel the upliftment and the restoration that happens as you place this piece of energy into your heart chakra. And know that this bank of energy, the cloud, the dispensing machine, is available to you easily. Just spending a few moments still in union with your guide, receiving this beautiful energy. Your guide asks you whether there is anything else you would like to use the energy for right now, such as something happening in your physical body, in your mental, emotional world, with a project or goal, or with a situation going on right now. Choose the first thing that comes to your head and sense as your guide receives that now. And so it is. We're going to withdraw slightly from your guide now. Your guide acknowledges you with a bow, or a nodding of the head, or some other symbol now, and begins to slowly move away and reduce their energy. And the energy now becomes fainter and fainter. You know that your guide is always here for you. But we're just going to begin our journey now back to waking reality. So you get up off your special chair. Take another look around the room. Maybe it's changed from when you first entered the room. Acknowledge any special details on your way out of the room. Leave the room via the door, going back into the marble corridor, and just glance behind you. See if the colour of the door is the same from when you first entered the room. Maybe there's another colour for you today. And walk back across the marble corridor with the palatial columns. Eventually you realise that you are once again in the darkened cinema, and you are looking at yourself sitting on the front row of the cinema. You step over to yourself sitting in that front row seat, and you merge, finding yourself now sitting in the front row of the cinema. You become aware of the light that was coming forth from your heart centre, which projected the movie onto the screen, and that light now reduces as the cinema screen begins to darken, and the light is retrieved back into your heart and your energy, and we find ourselves once again in the comforting, subdued darkness of the cinema. I'm going to ask you now to be more aware of the room that you are sitting or laying in real life. Can you hear sounds outside your window or within the room? Become more aware of the sensation of your body on the chair or bed in which you are laying. Wriggle your fingers and your toes. Tense and release your leg muscles, if that's comfortable for you. Clench and release your hands. And as I count back from 10, we're going to return to everyday life. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, almost home, 2, 1. Whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes and return to the room. Take your time, there's no rush. Now is a good time to take a sip of water, as I've just done. Sometimes our mouth gets a little dry when we're relaxed in this way. And return to the waking state in your own time. I want to thank you again for being here today. If you'd like to give an energy exchange for what you've enjoyed today, you can donate a sum of your choice via the PayPal link, which will be wherever this recording is displayed, such as YouTube, Facebook, etc. Look out for that. And as we said at the beginning, there are other links to working with me personally on your dilemmas right now, where I can link with your guides to help you make intuitive, empowered choices and to review your life right now. Thanks so much for being with me today. Remember to keep drinking water in the days ahead, to be gentle with yourself, to honour your emotions, and to take extra rest if you need it. Respect your body and your energy system. Sending loads of love, and I'll see you again soon.